Welcome to Unite and Win, a guide to workplace organizing, a podcast series by the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee, presented in partnership with Haymarket Books. My name is Wes Holing. I'm the Communications Coordinator at the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee. This podcast is broken up into two parts: an audiobook version of our Unite and Win handbook, which is also available in paperback and ebook formats from Haymarket, and a handful of discussion episodes hosted by labor journalist and author Kim Kelly. Kim will be speaking with a diverse group of experienced labor organizers to go deeper on some of the themes we talk about in the handbook and other topics relevant to the labor movement. This is Lesson 4 of our Unite and Win handbook, published in 2024 by Haymarket Books. Inoculation and the Boss Campaign. Once you've decided you're ready to go public, it's very likely that your boss will push back. To win, you'll need to be prepared. James, a Starbucks barista, says, "We went public on Monday, and that same day, headquarters were on the phone with all the managers giving them guidance on what to do. One manager testified in an affidavit that they'd asked him to dig up dirt on people who'd been at the store for a very long time. He was forced to put out new schedules to make it more difficult for union supporters to talk to one another, and to staff the store with corporate store managers at every hour of the day. I wasn't so certain that the company, because of their progressive image, would respond so aggressively, but everything that happened at our store is exactly what was predicted by the people who are coaching us and giving us advice on how to prepare." It's crucial to prepare your coworkers ahead of time for what management will do. This process of inoculation undercuts the power of the boss's threats and messaging when they carry out those threats. And your coworkers will have more confidence in you and the union when they see that your predictions have come true. Most anti-union campaigns follow a similar set of tactics. A highly paid union buster will train management in anti-union arguments such as, "The union is a third party. We won't be able to talk directly. We're a family. Give us another chance. We're listening. Make sure to be informed, listen to both sides, and make your own decisions. The union can't guarantee you anything. You won't necessarily get the benefits you want or higher wages. The union just wants your dues money." Third-partying is a term to describe union-busting rhetoric which asserts that the union is a separate entity from workers themselves. The intent is to undermine the collective and democratic nature of unions by creating the illusion of a third party that the workers are paying to speak on their behalf. Bosses' tactics often include the following. The one-on-one. The boss will spread their anti-union arguments in one-on-one discussions so a worker will hear them in isolation. Managers may pull workers off the shop floor unannounced or will schedule job reviews. If you see management approaching workers in this manner, come up with a plan ahead of time for who will check in with the workers after they've been spoken to so they don't feel alone. Ideally, more than one person handles these check-ins. If management identifies vehemently anti-union workers, they will often lean on these individuals to spearhead their campaign, including by encouraging them to spread rumors about and create tensions with pro-union workers. Avoid direct confrontations with anti-union workers and instead focus on workers with the weakest pro-union sentiments to make sure they aren't swayed by anti-union arguments. A boss campaign deliberately creates a sense of discomfort and stress at work so that workers associate the union with that discomfort and stress. The captive audience meeting. Management will often hold captive audience meetings, which are mandatory sessions with groups of workers designed to communicate the company's opposition to unionization. In these meetings, managers lay out a prepared anti-union script. Jordan, a Trader Joe's worker, says, "Our captive audience meetings were disguised as meetings called the huddle, where a group of workers are gathered together with a manager and told about the very bad things that would happen if there was a union. This would include calling the union a third party, emotional appeals, and straight-up lies like your schedule is going to change, or your pay is going to be affected, or you won't be able to talk to managers anymore." There were also constant one-on-one conversations where coworkers would be targeted specifically. People who were shyer, seemingly susceptible to manipulation by the company, or people who were waiting for some kind of promotion. And any information we posted on the public bulletin board was taken down immediately, so it was really hard for us to get out information. The most effective thing they did was finding anti-union workers to do the work for managers and for the union-busting law firm. You can't file the same kind of charges against your coworkers as you would managers. And also, when your coworker is telling you something, it's a lot more emotional and effective than hearing it from the boss. Don't let the boss control the narrative. Union supporters can interrupt and challenge the boss during these meetings, turning the boss's captive audience meeting into a workers' captive audience meeting. Check out the Union Busting Bingo card in Lesson 4 of the handbook, or click the link in our show notes to print out one for yourself and your coworkers. Disciplining organizers. Management may even go all out, disciplining workers, firing activists, or threatening to close the shop. Document everything. Document illegal threats, promises, discriminatory actions, but don't get sidetracked from organizing around your issues. If you feel that you or one of your coworkers has been subjected to illegal disciplining for organizing, reach out to an EWOC organizer for support at workerorganizing.org/support. An unfair labor practice, or ULP, is an act that violates labor law. An employer often commits ULPs to undermine union activity. These should be reported to the National Labor Relations Board, though the agency is often slow to resolve them. Filing ULPs cannot replace your organizing, but they can be grounds for going on strike. Employer ULPs include conducting an act of surveillance on organizing activities or even the impression of such surveillance, offering promises if employees reject the union, forbidding workers from discussing work conditions or engaging in collective action, threatening or disciplining for organizing or implying that unionizing will not improve the workplace or have negative consequences, and any disciplinary action in retaliation for concerted activity. Who do you inoculate and when? Union busting is primarily aimed at undecided workers, but you must prepare everyone for the boss campaign. Consider any vulnerability a worker may have, a sick family member, attendance issues, or a strong desire for advancement, in case the boss uses that vulnerability against the individual. If workers know what's coming, they will recognize it for what it is. Don't let the bosses divide workers by language, race, department. They will try. Stress equality, justice, fairness. Be sensitive to people's fears and don't pile on too much before they're ready. Instead, weave your inoculation into confidence-boosting discussions and activities. Throughout this ordeal, to win, you have to keep talking about the issues that matter to workers and the organizing goals workers have set. Wage increases, fair work schedules, fair treatment, democracy in the workplace. The union is the workers, and that is what the boss wants you to forget. Unite and Win is presented in partnership with Haymarket Books, publisher of a wide range of essential books, especially relevant to listeners like you. One that you might be interested in reading is Disposable Domestics: Immigrant Women Workers in the Global Economy by Grace Chang. Illegal, un-American, disposable. In a nation with an unprecedented history of immigration, the prevailing image of those who cross our borders in search of equal opportunity is that of a drain. Grace Chang's vital account of immigrant women who work as nannies, domestic workers, janitors, nursing aides, and home care workers proves just the opposite. The women who perform our least desirable jobs are the most crucial to our economy and society. Disposable Domestics highlights the unrewarded work immigrant women perform as caregivers, cleaners, and servers, and shows how these women are actively resisting the exploitation they face. Find Disposable Domestics at haymarketbooks.org, where all paperback books are 20% off every day. Jordan, a Trader Joe's worker, says, "We held a lot of meetings outside of work with coworkers to prepare them for what exactly to expect and followed up with people as they were confronted during the union busting campaign. And we actually also had an inoculation party where we went over a bunch of things that people would hear from union busting managers and we worked out responses. We made a game night out of it." Plan activities throughout to keep workers involved. Rallies, cookouts, buttons, t-shirts, "We're voting yes" petitions. You use solidarity to combat fear, division, confusion, and hopelessness. By emphasizing transparency and democracy, workers can effectively disarm the argument that the union is something outside or above the workers. Expose company lies with confidence. If your campaign is full of hope and solidarity, it will help workers overcome the fear that the union buster spreads. United, we win. The Multiracial, Multilingual Campaign. Labor organizing is based on solidarity, and racism undermines solidarity. Unfortunately, workplaces like the rest of American society are affected by racism. But whether from management or from coworkers, racial divisions serve the interests of the boss and weaken your collective power. Bosses know this and use every tool they can to sow division. So it's important to identify racism and fight it. Analyze structural racism in your workplace. Who gets hired? Who doesn't? What jobs are they hired into? Who gets promoted? Are there wage gaps within similar jobs? Are bosses, overtly or subtly, racist? Look at instances of division, such as a restaurant whose personnel consists of white waitstaff and Latin American kitchen workers who make less and don't share the language or culture with the waitstaff. A warehouse where black workers are assigned the heaviest, most dangerous jobs. Or a lunchroom where workers self-segregate. From the start, your organizing committee should reflect the diversity of the workplace. Find and recruit leaders from every ethnic group. If they are reluctant to get involved, you need to find out why. Fear, prejudice, privileges, cultural differences, language barriers, immigration status. Leaders can explain how unifying benefits everyone. Your organizing committee should discuss which issues could unite workers across divisions and address issues that arise in specific groups. Building a campaign around universal and specific grievances creates a stronger basis for solidarity and lasting unity. If language is a barrier, it might be necessary to create literature in multiple languages or find someone to serve as interpreter. A good way to develop trusting relationships and shared understanding is by organizing social get-togethers such as picnics, cookouts, and sporting events. Choose an event location that will encourage the most reluctant group to come. The organizing committee can't avoid the subject of racism. You must talk about it, even at the risk of misspeaking. Organizers should listen to their coworkers and be willing to admit mistakes. The campaign must take principled stands against workplace racism, even if some coworkers object. Unions can be a powerful institutional check on interpersonal racism and fight to remove double standards in discipline policy and job classifications. Ultimately, fighting for fairness on the job will unite a majority. When workers organize across ethnic and racial lines, everybody benefits. Wages of unionized workers are higher than those of non-union workers, and Black union workers earn higher wages than their non-union peers irrespective of race. When workers organize, they find they have a lot in common with each other, and that's what bosses fear. Every worker, everywhere. There's no single formula for organizing. Every campaign will be workplace specific. The conditions will be unique. There will be different strengths and weaknesses on the part of both bosses and coworkers. Goals may vary, and so may the most impactful organizing tactics. That's why we encourage you to spend so much time meeting, talking, assessing, and reflecting with your coworkers on the work you're doing. We encourage you to seek support from experienced organizers, but you and your coworkers are the only true experts about your workplace and know best what strategy will work for you. One thing is always true. At its core, organizing is based on developing relationships with our coworkers and building a community where everyone is welcome. It's easy to organize your friends and people who already agree with you, but the key is to include people who aren't as easy to reach and find common cause with them. It's hard, even overwhelming, to imagine being in solidarity with people in your workplace that don't share your worldview. But in this polarized world, the workplace is actually one of the best places to foster solidarity because workers are connected through their shared interests. Fighting for common demands to protect our livelihoods, families, and communities creates a powerful bond, one that could build a bigger and better movement. The key to achieving a healthy society where we enjoy both dignity on the job and living wages, where we have more time for rest and play, where we can assert our rights freely without fear of retaliation, rests in our hands. It takes time and dedication because we're working within a world where democracy stops at the boss. But we have so much to win when we act together. We can accomplish almost anything. If you like this book, you might also want to read Secrets of a Successful Organizer by Alexandra Bradbury, Mark Brenner, and Jane Slaughter, Them and Us Unionism from the United Electrical, Radio, and Machine Workers of America, or UE, and No Shortcuts, Organizing for Power by Jane McAlevey. Check out the handbook or our show notes for a full list of recommended reading. We have the deepest appreciation for the many Ewok volunteer organizers and supporters who contributed their knowledge, writing, and feedback to this guide, making it a product of the wisdom of many. Many thanks to Eric Blanc, Alex Bradbury, Jenny Brown, Patrick Kate, Ian Cooper-Smith, Terry Davis, Marianella Deprile, Dan DiMaggio, Luis Feliz Leon, Prachi Goyal, Wes Holing, Roz Hunter, Bob Lawson, Ruma Hendale, Ian O'Hara, Shasta Payne, Colette Perold, Larson Ross, James Scretta, Don Teft, Gabe Tobias, Micah Utrecht, Truman Wenzel, and Grant West. Special thanks to Megan Swoboda for shepherding the work of this organization since the beginning and supporting the development of this handbook. Thanks also to the many others who have helped shape the content of our trainings and by extension this guide. Thanks also to the workers who have organized their own workplaces and returned to share their stories and experiences with those who are newer to the movement. We thank United Electrical, Radio, and Machine Workers, Democratic Socialists of America, and Labor Notes for their continued support. We would not be the organization that we are if not for the long-standing labor left, the tradition in which we proudly stand. The knowledge we've shared here was retained by these organizations over the decades of their work. Thanks also to our print designer, Stephen Crow, and the illustrators at Down the Street Designs, Paul Zappia and Rima Bangayan. This was truly a labor of love and dedication to workers organizing everywhere. Solidarity forever. Thanks for listening to Unite and Win, a guide to workplace organizing from the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee and Haymarket Books. Visit haymarketbooks.org to find indispensable radical books, podcasts, virtual events, and other political education resources, including the Unite and Win handbook. Please also consider joining the Haymarket Book Club, one of the best ways to support Haymarket and help fund projects like this one. I'm your audiobook host, Wes Holing. Julia Yort is our senior producer, and Rachel Leitner is our engineer. Production support from Duff Natir and Megan Swoboda. Music from Epidemic Sound. The Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee supports any worker, anywhere in the country, in any sector, organizing for something better. Visit us at workerorganizing.org if you're ready to organize your workplace or volunteer with us. Please also consider making a donation in support of our work at workerorganizing.org/donate. Listen to Unite and Win, a guide to workplace organizing, wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and share with anyone who might benefit from it.